surgical, physical when I'm lyrical. So bat it down with medical, something critical. It's gonna take a miracle. Bright lights for some spiritual, written down like biblical. I finally reached the pinnacle. Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the boxing playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.
What's up, my peoples? Bienvenido a Boxing Playhouse Latin America. It's your boy Danny Santiago. This week, doing the stream of the show all the way from Miami, Florida. I'm here for a special weekend this weekend. I have a fighter fighting on the show with Don King. But I'm here with Spanish Ray Sosa. What's going on, Ray?
What's up, Papo?
How you doing, man?
How's the weather down there?
You want to know something, man? It's kind of cold, man. I didn't think that I was going to be on Miami Beach chilling out, wearing some shorts, and I was wearing a sweater a little earlier, and I got some long jeans, and I didn't expect it. I'm kind of disappointed.
Yes, it's chilly down here. It dropped over here too.
Jesus, I mean, look, I think my bullet got a little bit thin. You're going to laugh at me, but it's like in the 70s and low 70s, maybe even 68 to 72. And that's cold for me, man. I've been in Colombia for 7 years now. And, once you get down to like 70 degrees, I'm wearing a coat.
Yeah, this is the weather. We got to be careful. This is when we get sick, bro.
Yeah, man. Listen, man, we had a great weekend of boxing. The Benitez fight, that dude is a beast. And, he went against Andrade. And I think that I'm going to give my little opinion in a minute. But did you get to watch that fight?
Yes, I did. Of course I did.
I'm gonna give you my thoughts, but let's chime in and see what you thought. But factoring things, I've never really been a fan. There's no knock against him, but I've never been a fan of Boo Boo. He does what these things. God bless him. He's a good fighter, but he doesn't fight often. Supposedly, it's because he couldn't get fights, right? And that may just be the case, right? But at the end of the day, man, I think that Benitez is just another type of animal, man. That dude was like an octopus. He just throws punches from everywhere. He throws a lot of punches, but he doesn't waste a lot of energy. He just has a Frankenstein type of move that he just comes in and just keep overpowering you, breaking you down. And I think it was just a little bit too much. And also you got to factor in the inactivity of Andrade. He hasn't fought like in a year and a half, and Benitez, he's pretty active, man. That dude is a monster. What do you think?
Exactly. I kind of think that he was laid off for so long. I wasn't gonna expect much from him. Benitez, he likes to walk you down. I personally got some blueprint for that, because nobody really, when people get walked down, they gotta know how to jab. They gotta know where to jab, how to dismantle. Because he knows how to cover up real good. I'm not going to say it on here, so I don't want to give out my secrets, but there's certain ways you could dismantle that. If you don't do that, he's going to walk you down, and he's going to eat you alive.
I mean, not to change the subject, but Benitez reminds me just of like a bigger version. I wouldn't say a bigger version, but, we used to fight like that too, and he got my boy one time, and I was kind of upset about it, but, Kelly Pavlik, man, that dude was a straight, he should just swarm you and just continually throw punches, continually to come at you, and where you're like, you knock that bastard down and he'll get up, lick his wounds, and just come straight at you again. And for me, Benitez cut from that cloth. What do you think of that?
Again, if you sharpshoot the jab and catch a guy in the nose, I don't care how strong you are. Everybody got a nose, and you clog that nose, they can't breathe. That's just me.
No doubt.
I'm stubborn with the jab. Huh?
No doubt, you're right about that. But do you remember Jermaine Taylor? He had a lightning, like 2x4 jab. I've been hit with it, so I know that dude's jab was ridiculous. You know what I mean? And his right hand was like insane. And there was a difference in training at the time and stuff like that. But Benitez just has this one style that I think is going to give a lot of people problems. Whether they figure it out or not, it's going to be a problem. That's just my opinion.
Let's see what happens with Canelo. Let's see if Canelo takes this fight on Cinco de Mayo.
What do you think is going to happen in that fight? You know, you think Canelo's getting a little long in the whiskers?
I'm not a Canelo fan, but I gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. The only reason why I don't want to, because I think he was on something. The way he got big like that, I'm still uncomfortable with that. So when I think like that, I just don't even want to give him no credit at all.
Do you think there's like?
Huh?
Do you think there's like levels to this shit? Like, you know, Canelo. I mean, Benavidez been on most of these levels, but on a Canelo type of level, on that stage, with that type of people, with that type of crowd, with that type of, even though they're both Mexican and all that stuff like that, but I just think that, you know, there's levels to this thing, you know, and I don't really know if size wise, you know, I think people say I'm wrong, but I think Benavidez is a bigger guy, but I just think there's levels to this shit, and Canelo, the way he breaks a guy down, he hits you in the hips, he hits you in the arms. You know, he's a tactician when he gets in there and he breaks you down to the point where, you know, you get submissive to what he's going to do. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
That's my point. You see what I'm saying? Exactly what you said. Bebo beat Canelo because he didn't give him time to set up. He knew how to throw the 1-2-1. People don't understand that. Pacquiao had it. The 1-2 back to the jab, not the hook. Once you do that, Canelo can't come in. Now with Benavidez, if he got that same arsenal where he doesn't let him come in, because Benavidez could get touched too. We haven't seen him get touched and see how he deals with that.
I've seen him get a few shots, you know, and he has a good set of whiskers, you know what I'm saying? I just think that Father Time just kicks in eventually. It's got to kick in. The guy's he's sleeping in silk drawers, man, you know? I mean, this young man is still starving.
Okay, but has he been down yet? Has we seen the Benavidez go down yet?
You know what? I might stand corrected, but I think he has been down, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong, you know? But even still, you know, the dude is not. It's like they're saying, you know, I've been down myself, and I got up a couple times and I stayed down a couple times. This bastard got up, you know, and he just has like this, you know. It's funny because to me, he has like that little Frankenstein thing coming, but he just doesn't stop throwing punches, man. The dude is. I mean, his nickname is the Monster, just like he now, you know, they're both just absolute animals.
Right. I throw a jab a certain way, bro. I come up here. I come right up here. Right up here with the jab, bro. I don't care who you are. I shove that nose up your brain. You ain't going nowhere, but that's just me.
Okay. Well, listen, you know, we had that fight. There was a couple good fights on the card. There's a lot of fights coming up right now. You know, I'm in Miami. Don King 92nd celebration. You know, the development of champions. He's got a pretty good show going on. Adrian Bronner was supposed to fight. According to reports, he injured his hand. What do you think of that? Do you think that he really injured his hand, or maybe he injured his hand, opened the refrigerator or something? What do you think?
I told you the last time, bro. That guy is a head case, man. I don't care what they say. There's always something with that dude. I like them coming up now. I don't even pay no mind, bro. He's a shame because he was a good fighter. Now I don't even care. The guy, to me, is a waste of time.
You really think so?
That's how I feel. I wouldn't even want to see him no more. And the thing is, who is he gonna fight? Who is he supposed to fight anyway?
He was supposed to fight this kid named Howard, is on the show, who's still fighting. He's gonna fight a guy named Tayshaun Prince from Newburgh, New York. My bad. And tough kid, tough fighter. With Don King, he's got a nice record. They both have like the same exact record, 18 wins and 1 or 2 losses. And ironically enough, at one time, Mr. Gordon, his dad, Eric Gordon, was an absolute beast in the light heavyweight division. We were supposed to fight each other a couple times. It never came to fruition. But he had that like that. You know, I hate to do comparisons, but he had that little. I was a Tyson protege from the Catskills with Kevin Rooney in my early career, and then I got with Camacho, and he kind of twisted me up, or changed me up a little bit. But Eric Gordon, man, he had like that whole white Tyson. He was like a white Tyson, but he just came in, and his dad, he comes from pedigree, man. Him and his 2 brothers also box. So I don't think it was going to be an easy fight like people thought of. They got to do their homework. He comes from generational boxing, you know. Maybe he looked at that, and maybe, you know, he slipped on a banana peel and hurt his wrist or something, or maybe he did hurt his head, hitting somebody in the head with the right hand, and he's got a lot to lose. I just think that there's so many shenanigans that go on sometimes with Ronda, and I like Ronda. I mean, I really do. I have a lot of respect for him. I think he has a place in boxing, and what he's done in boxing is incredible. Nobody achieves the feats that he has, but and you can't acknowledge that. You got to acknowledge that, But I just think there's some things that go on with him, whether it's training or the discipline of eating or whatever. God forbid it's a hand. I hope it isn't a hand. A hand injury takes a little long, But I was really looking forward to being on the show. I have a kid fighting on the show, and Adrian Broner brings a show. When he fights, but he brings a show. He brings them thug dudes. They in the house. They let you know they dead. And that's a good fight environment.
I got a new one for him. He's about billions. He says he's about billions. He's about bullshit right about now.
You think so?
Man, just look at the history already. What's going on, man? We don't got much time with him. I could see if he was coming up and this is the first time on him, but nah. We've been around this rodeo before. We don't want to see that, man. We want to come on, man. He's at the end too. He's got to finish strong. He's not finishing strong.
Yeah. I don't hate on a man for earning a living. You know what I mean? I fought into my 40s. I fought till I was 43 years old. I needed that paper, and I could never knock a man for earning a living. I just came from Jamaica, and I was at a exhibition where they had Trevor Berbick. Excuse me, my bad. Razor Ruddock and James Toney. And you want to know the truth, man? When they first set that match up, and I'm gonna go back to the problem child, but when I first heard of the fight, I was kind of worried. I'm like, man, these old bastards don't even look like they could walk. But they had fun, man. And if you can have some fun and not get hurt and make a little bit of paper, I can't knock them. Maybe like Don signed him. Don. I want to talk about Don today, the press conference that we had. He's 92 years old, man, and everybody knows the love and affection I have for him. But the reality of the situation, you sit there on the podium with him, and he's reading notes at 92 years old with no glasses on. I mean, he just made different, man. I don't know many 90-some-year-old people that read without using glasses and doesn't forget people's names and he has the notes there to refer to, but at the end of the day, he knows who's on the card, who's they fighting, how they did in their last fight. Either somebody's whispering in his ear every day about this stuff, or he just has an impeccable memory.
Well, what about Regis? Let's talk about the Regis Haney fight.
Oh yeah, man. I like that fight. You want to know something, man? I gave my prediction. Where you at on that?
As much as I don't like Haney, he still got the advantage to keep him at bay. If he keeps him at bay, and Haney's getting bigger now. I always liked Regis, man. I always liked him. I trained this guy Amos. Nobody knows this, but I'm the one who trained Amos Cole first, and he fought Regis on his early career. I didn't want Amos to fight that guy right away, but he had a coach that I guess disagreed, and they rushed him. And I think that to this day, that was Regis' toughest fight coming up. With that being said, when it comes to Haney can't slug with this guy, which we already know that. He can't slug with him. He's got to stay on the outside, box him, clinch him, and win by decision. Try to shut his eye, do something, because this guy's training hard. He just ain't got much time left. He got to get in there and win this fight. Go ahead. If he don't, I'm just saying, what's gonna happen? What's next for him?
Yeah,
he got more to lose. He got more to lose.
Yeah, he's got definitely everything more to lose. But I'm gonna go the opposite way with you. I'm gonna go to Regis. I'm gonna go with the Rougarou, man. That dude is an absolute killer, and I'm gonna tell you this like this. Haney can box and can get a decision, but he ain't stopping that boy. You know what I mean? Like I think that we just can make a few mistakes and recover. I just don't think that with the power that the Rougarou has, I just don't think that Haney has enough room to make a mistake and recover. Haney, for some reason, people think he's a young kid. I mean, he's a mature young man, you know, and he's got plenty of miles on the wheels, you know, and he's very smart. He obviously has good mentors. He has good training. He has a great attitude. He stays in the gym and he does what he's got to do. I just, like I said, back to the whole level thing. I just think that the Rougarou is just, he got like man strength. He's just different, bro. And he wants that shit. He's been in the dark for too long. He want to come out and see the light.
Listen, when they say that Haney can't punch, that's a big boy. It's not that he can't punch. He don't know how to turn his punches. When you turn your punches, you add meat to that fork. So what's going on with him is that he's not really fully developed how to throw punches. The strength of his punches. When he lands, Andre Berto was like that. Solid guy. But when he landed, you didn't hear the impact. It's like at the end of the day, the punches disintegrate because they don't know how to turn them at the end. You got to work on your turnovers.
Well, maybe they're just your classic boxers, like, you know, Andre Ward and Devin Haney, for that matter. You know, they're boxers. And you know, when I walked into the gym, even though I didn't have that personality, the rule of the game is a hit, not be hit. So that's why it's called boxing. It's not called fighting. You know what I mean? So maybe that's just, you know, who am I to tell him this? You know, I ain't the undisputed whatever, you know, and you know, for that matter, anybody I know can't really say those things because they weren't the undisputed champions like Andre Ward. I mean, Andre Ward was, you know, he was a tactician. He beat the hell out of you. He'll disarm you and take away your best attributes and then give you a boxing clinic. And in the end of the day, that's kind of like what boxing is supposed to be about. That's why he has all his faculties intact, and he doesn't sound punchy. He's doing color commentating, and you know, and he can tell like it is because who touched him? Who got close to touching him? And for that matter, look at Haney. I mean, he's been in a couple good fights, but I mean, the kid's still pretty boy. He's still a good-looking kid, man. You know.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Andre Ward because he deflects punches, man. The punches that come, fighters nowadays are not deflecting these punches. They see them coming. Yo, a quick twitch. That's why, you know, Mayweather, at the end of the day, yeah, they talk about him, but to hit him, bro, you got to open him up. If you don't, he's going to deflect. He's going to slip. He's going to weave. He's going to deflect.
Yeah.
Fighters, they don't even parry the jab. When the jab's coming, they don't even, the windshield wiper, they don't even do that. They just see the jab coming. They try to keep slipping. Yo, bro, you got two hands. I got two hands. Guess what? I'm going to watch both hands. This hand's going to watch that hand. This watch is going to watch that hand. I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park, but I'm going to try my best to deflect whatever I can. And whatever I can't, then I have to deal with it. But a lot of these fighters today, they see the punch coming. They squint. Ouch. They already got the ouch face. Ouch. No, man. It's called no. It's called no, no, no. Yes, yes, yes. No, 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 no. That's Mayweather. No, no, no. He refuses to get touched. And guess what? If he gets touched, it's a graze. It's not flush. You might hit him one time, like Shane Mosley did. And I was going for Shane, but I got to give it to Mayweather, boy. He locked him up, survived, and came back and spanked him. So when
that's why a lot of people hate on him because, you know, he's like, look, man, this is called a boxing. And I'm not here to get my head beat in. I'm here to, you know, get in there, make my money, walk out my faculties. And he was one of the best at it. You know, like one of my favorite fighters, and almost every fighter in the entire world loved Muhammad Ali, but that whole rope-a-dope thing didn't do him well. You know what I mean? And you know, fighters are smarter now. They're like, why should I take these punches? You know, why should I do these things? And like you said, who's teaching these individuals how to parry a punch or how to slip? Or how to counter from slipping and stuff like that. You know, everybody nowadays is about going there and, you know, look, people try to emulate Floyd Mayweather, but he's a generational fighter, just like Mike was, just like Sugar Ray. I mean, Andre Ward. These are generational fighters. They were born to do this. They were bred to do this, and you know, you can try to duplicate, but you ain't never ever gonna replicate it to the T the way it's supposed to be. You know, and when I look at Haney, you know, I think Haney is his own man. He stands on his own 2 feet. He's obviously won a shitload of fights and a shitload of belts, and he's doing good for himself and his family. But I just think that the Rougarou is going to bring it that day, man. We might be in line for an upset.
Well, He's a southpaw. Again, I'm just going by. I'm going by different styles, and I give the edge to Haney because he got the legs. He got long legs. He should win with the right coach in the corner telling him the right thing to do. If I had Haney, we're not going inside. You got to catch me if you can, and got to catch you coming in. They call it running. It ain't running. It's like when Sugar Ray fought Hagler. Same shit. What did Sugar do? He beat him.
Yeah. He confused him. He turned him. He didn't stand in front of him. He used his jab, hit him as he was coming in and moved. He didn't wait for the receipt. You know what I mean? Which is
it's called boxing, bro. It's called boxing. Regis is gonna come in fighting. Oh, look who we got.
Oh man, we got the guest of honor right here. We got Mr. Harold.
I can't up now. Okay.
All right, we got Mr. Harold Weston Jr. in the house right here. This man, I want to introduce. I want to talk about a little bit. I want to welcome him to the show. First and foremost, this man has fought everybody you can ever imagine.
Well, I'm glad to be there, brother.
Oh, I'm honored to have you here, my brother. You know, you ran boxing in Madison Square Garden. You were the chief matchmaker. You fought Benitez. You fought Thomas Hearns. I mean, who didn't?
Well, let me tell you one thing. I'm glad you.
What's that, sir?
He froze up.
Oh, he froze up. All right. We'll see when we get him back. Are you there, Mr. Weston? He's freezing up a little bit. I'm gonna keep him moving. Maybe he'll come back in a few seconds. But in saying that, man, you know, this man right here, when Ray called me up and told me about we're gonna have this gentleman on the show, I had heard of him because I know I fought in the Garden a few times, and I had heard of him, and I know he was involved in Madison Square Garden, you know, which that's a prestigious job to begin with. He's a fellow New Yorker, but his accolades, I mean. To fight, I think he fought Roberto Benitez. Not Roberto Benitez, Wilfredo Benitez. Roberto Benitez is also a good fighter. Wilfredo Benitez twice, and those are some serious dogs right there, huh, Ray?
He fought everybody, man. When I saw his resume, it was outstanding. He fought everybody. Cuevas. What was the other guy he fought? He got a story that he's got to tell you when he was in the army. Okay, Hal, you can hear me, Hal? His volume is off.
No, it's like his Wi-Fi is too slow or something. Let's see if support can help him out with that.
Let me speak for the man because I was on the phone with him for 2 hours.
Go ahead.
So this is gonna be my special evening talking about the man of the hour. Too sweet to be sour.
Go ahead.
This guy told me that when he was in the service, he tried to get a leave to fight Vito Antuofermo. They didn't want to give it to him.
Wow.
Give it to him, and he kept on. And they told him, "You're gonna leave out here. You're gonna leave us to fight that guy." And he told everybody, "I'll beat that guy. I'll beat him." And guess what? Somehow he worked it out where he got that leave, went in for Vito and beat him.
Wow.
He beat him.
And you know what, Ray? To me, Vito Antuofermo was like the 70s, 80s version of Arturo Gatti, man. He had like that style, that grit. You not agree?
That dude knew how to block with his face. You kidding me?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Takes a lick and keeps on ticking.
Keeps on ticking, keeps on like the Energizer Rabbit, man. You just kept coming forward.
Man, that guy was something else too with that, you know, raging bull type guy. But getting back to Harold, that was one story he told me. Another story was with Ali, man. He told me that when he got the position there at the Garden, it was the Frazier Ali fight coming up, and there was a press conference. And look what he said, how he met Ali. He said he met Ali. Wow, and I'm saying this for him. I wanted him to say it, but somebody's got to say it. He told me that when he met Ali, Ali goes into the office, locks the door behind him. Locks the door behind him so nobody could follow him. And goes in there and says, "Hi, I'm Muhammad Ali. Nice to meet you." And Harold was on the phone, he said. And he said, "Ali, how can I help you?" He said, "Don't worry about it. Sit. keep doing what you're doing. I just want to watch you.
Wow.
For Ali to tell him that is something, right?
Yeah, you know, Ali, man, I've heard so many stories about him. You know, I had a brief moment here in South Florida with a friend of mine named Trevor Cedar, who they filmed the Ali movie in his gym, you know, and he knew Ali very well with Angelo Dundee, who I happened to meet several times before he passed. And he was just a character to the very end, man. So to know him to do that, you know, for you to tell me to do that, it sounds just like Ali. He's just a spontaneous, funny dude, man. He surprised the hell out of you, you know?
And then he told me I think Ali drove him home that day.
Wow, that's amazing.
How to meet him, and the first time he just drove him home.
Holy smoke.
Hal Weston, bro, that guy. And salute to Robert Lee too. Robert Lee was the one who got me the link for that. We gotta get Robert Lee on here.
One of the best trainers in the game, man.
He also told, this is what else he said, man. I'm sorry I'm talking a lot, but I gotta speak for the man.
Let's go, baby.
Let's talk about Mark McDowell. He brought up Mark McDowell. Nobody's brought up Mark McDowell since I've known talking about people. The only one was Jerry Cooney. Mark McDowell, that's another guy we got to find because that dude was special. He was different. He's back. Good.
How you doing, sir? You back with us?
No volume.
We can't hear him.
Let me keep going for him. Let me be his voice. We talked about Mark McDowell. When he told me Mark McDowell went nuts, I said, nah, no kidding. I didn't have to say nothing. He's telling me about Mark because I'm always telling people about this guy McDowell. I sat back and listened to this man talk about Mark McDowell. What a story about Mark. He mentioned Roberto Vinas. When I was speaking to Roca, rest in peace, Hector Roca, Sr. I said, Roca, because this is what I would do with my mentors. I would still ask them questions to this day. I said, Roca, who gave Duran the hardest time sparring? He tells me Roberto Vinas. Right? This is what Roca tells me. I'm talking to this man right here, and we on the phone. The first thing he tells me, he trained Roberto Vinas.
Holy smoke.
I said, what? I stopped him right there. I was like, wait, Howard, say that again, Roberto Vinas? I just heard about this man. And then he also tells me that Roberto Vinas, I said, what happened to that guy? From what I understand, he beat Camacho in the amateurs. That's what he told me. I don't know if people know that. Even Camacho could attest to that.
Wow.
That he was, I think, 8-0. And I said, but what happened to him? He goes, Ray, when I got the promotion to work at the Garden, I couldn't train him no more. Roberto Vinas told him, if you ain't training me, I'm gonna quit boxing.
Wow.
And that's what he said. He said he quit.
Holy smoke.
Don't believe it.
Yeah. No, they're talking in the background there, but while I was looking at his resume, he was a fighter, a great record. He was a matchmaker. He was a promoter. He did pretty much everything. They had an impeccable amateur record. Right. And, he was a chief guy at Madison Square Garden for like 100 years. He had a job at Madison Square Garden. That's like a dream job. Like, I would kill for a job like that, you know?
Listen, man.
Hey, guys, I'm actually doing the audio for Bruce. He's going to be talking to you through my phone, okay? So just give him a minute to listen. And shout out to everybody that's on board tonight. Okay, Mr. Harold, you can speak to them now.
Okay, Mr. Weston, how you doing, man? Were you back on with us or what?
Yeah, I'm back on, with
oh, man.
Today, that's what I'm doing today.
All right.
But I got to say that what he was talking about with Camacho, I always tell everybody Camacho is one of the greatest fighters that ever walked the earth. And he was up there with Sugar Ray Robinson, all the great ones. Nobody ever gave him credit for that. But I can tell you a person that would give him credit is Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Sugar Ray
well, he was like another generational fighter.
Yeah, it had nothing to do. I mean, when you're talking about talent, we're talking about a person that Camacho could fight at any age, at any time in boxing, in the 50s, in the 60s, 70s, whatever. But my point is that he was that great because he was so natural as a fighter.
Let me
He
ask you
said
a
that
question.
this guy was so natural as a fighter. He had that type of talent.
Yeah, because you gotta understand, let me just say this to all you. Everybody could not fight at any age in boxing. There's only a few fighters that could fight at any time in the boxing world. Okay? And that's right. We're talking about Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, okay, Joe Frazier. There's other guys that was there, Emil Griffin. And Camacho fits in that category where these guys could fight at any time in boxing. The beginning, when boxing first started, until now, okay? But everybody couldn't do that. And that's what I'm talking about. That's how great they were.
Could you hear that? Could you guys hear that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Yes, you're absolutely right, Mr. Harrell. Those are generational boxers that you just mentioned. And when you say that he was on that level, like, I think that's why people don't understand how and why boxers, necessarily can duplicate some of these greats you're talking about, because it's like these are like really special boxers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't hear me mention Tommy Hearns or Sugar Ray Leonard because they wouldn't have made it in those eras. They couldn't beat Sugar Ray Robinson. They couldn't beat, all those great guys that was fighting in those days. So that's what I'm saying. Camacho could have handled those people because of his style and the speed that he had.
Yeah, he had some grit too. That's why I'm always on my social media saying it's always macho time, because even if he was around today, it'd be macho time right now.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, can you mention some other boxers that you think are in that same category? Like, I'm interested to know your opinion on that.
He's shaking his
it's
head.
a hard world to live in, okay? When you talking about greatness, there's one guy that I'm going to say to you, Jose Napoles, Emil Griffin.
Yeah.
It was just great fighters. Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier. I mean, there's a block of guys that can really say you can fight in any era of boxing and be champion of the world. And not many champions can say that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Is there anybody that you've been seeing in this era that you think is special?
Don't do that.
Yeah, we gotta go there. We gotta go there.
Love you, man.
Yeah, we gotta go there. I mean, is a Bud Crawford in that same elite status? Terrence Bud Crawford, maybe. I don't know. Anybody else you guys can think of offhand?
So when it comes to mine, I don't know. I like Bud. I like Floyd. I don't think Floyd gets enough credit, and people don't appreciate him. Because he's still doing what he does to make money, and people hate on him for it. I can never hate a man for earning a living.
Floyd is good at this era, but I can name you 20 people, 30 people, 50 people in the boxing back in the day that would have knocked him out. And I can name two right off the bat, especially in the welterweight division. Jose Napoles and Emil Griffin.
Wow. Okay.
I heard a lot of things about.
And don't let me go to the point where put Floyd Mayweather with Tommy Hearns at welterweight. Sugar Ray Leonard at welterweight. So you tell me who's gonna win.
Tommy. The hitman.
Hey, I want to. Hey, Mr. Weston, I want to ask you, with all your matchmaking at the Garden, which was one of your favorite fights you matched? Which is the biggest spectacle you matched working for the Madison Square Garden, working there?
Oh, Hector Camacho was one. He was the main one. I mean, he was. I knew Camacho since he was a little kid because I had a kid named fighting him, and the amateurs back in those days was named Alberto Vinales, and he beat Camacho 2 times in the amateurs.
Wow.
And the thing is that I was training Vinales and we turned pro. And when Venues went 8-0 as a pro, and Camacho was coming up too at the same time. But then I got the offer at Madison Square Garden, and then I told Venues, I said, I'm gonna put you in another group, another trainer, and he quit boxing because I wouldn't train him. But he was a great fighter too. This kid was, because like I said, he beat Camacho 2 times in the amateurs.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's pretty special.
Yeah,
Hey, guys.
It really is. Because nobody could stay with Camacho. One thing Vineyards had on his side was he had fast hands like Camacho did. But one thing he had over Camacho, he can punch harder.
Huh. Hey, Sakura, I wanna ask him one more question. Then I'm here for the fight, so I got to go a little early. But I want to say this, Mr. Weston. I want to say that thank you for being on the show. I'm a little bit under the weather, and I'm here at some fights in Miami at the Don King show they have this weekend. I got a fighter fighting. It was a great honor and privilege to be speaking to you today, and from one fellow New Yorker to another. God bless you, my brother, and someday we'll meet each other. God bless.
Yeah. And tell Don King I said hello.
I will do that.
Me and Don go back. I used to work for him at one time.
He doesn't forget. I'll let him know.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Good luck on your fight, Team Castro. You're putting me in a very tough situation because I love Harry Cruz as well. So I'm trying to be impartial, but I got love for y'all.
Thank you. You don't have to freak anybody. It's all right. The best man to win, and it's already written in the stone.
Don't do this to me.
No, I'm not asking for. But listen, there's certain things that I want to put you on the spot. Alex is my boy, and you know what? Harry Cruz is a fellow Bronx kid, man. Kudos to him, and whatever happens. I train my boy to do what he's got to do, and we'll see what happens on Saturday.
Hey,
Okay.
Peace out.
Good luck to you.
Green
Great.
versus
My brother.
Castro coming soon.
All right, baby. Later.
All right. Okay, Mr. Harold, I want you to go ahead and continue telling us about how you fought. No, I'm sorry, how you worked with Don King. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, Don was wonderful. I think Don is a great promoter. Don was, one thing that people don't know, Don is a very smart man. And I really enjoy working with Don and everything. We didn't leave on no bad terms and everything. I just got a better offer somewhere else, at the Garden. And
okay.
and the thing is that me and Don talked today in today's time. So I mean, Don is a smart man. People don't understand that, and he knows how to really craft his whole program when he's doing promotion and when he wants to get fighters signed up with his promotion. So I mean, Don is a very bright man. Don't get me wrong. I mean, people talk bad things about him, but I really respect him. I respect any man that's good at what he does in his job.
Or woman.
And woman, you're right. I was just talking about boxing, but women are in boxing too. I forgot about that too.
Yeah, we here now, Mr. Hare. Okay, we got a question from Bruce. He says, can Harold speak on the Camacho Rosario fight specifically?
Yeah, I mean, what does he want to know about that fight?
Okay, Bruce, tell us exactly what it is that you would like to know about that fight. And in the meantime, can you tell us, what were you doing, matchmaking with Don at that time? Like, what was your job duties?
Yeah, I was matchmaking with Don King. Yeah, I was doing two things. I was training fighters and matchmaking at the same time.
Oh, okay. So Aaron Snowell.
Very well.
Okay, that's my buddy.
Oh, is he? Okay,
yeah.
Tell him I said hello.
I definitely will.
Yeah.
I gotta get y'all back connected.
Yes, that's my man.
Yeah. All right. And let's see what else we got. Camacho. Okay, Bruce is saying Camacho went from puncher to Runner in that particular fight as he sees it?
No, I mean, one thing about boxing, when something's not working, yeah, one time in the fight and you getting hit too many times in that fight at a time, you got to adjust it. If you can't, let me say this: if you can't adjust your style, then you're in trouble. But if you can adjust your style and make it be more better and more easier to win the fight, that's what you do, and that's what he did. That's the life of boxing. But if you just one-dimensional way, then you're going to go that way, and that person is more stronger that way with you, then he's going to knock you out. That's what come when Joe Frazier fought George Foreman, he got knocked out. But when George Foreman fought Muhammad Ali, Ali beat George Foreman. Why is that? And then Joe Frazier beat Ali. Why is that?
Styles make fights.
Thank you. And you got to know what you're doing.
Well, I guess he's saying that maybe he's feeling like Rosario must have had too much power for Camacho, or he felt his power or something.
I don't know. At that time, Camacho was not Camacho no more. Okay, gotcha. He wasn't as dedicated to the sport. He was out there playing around, and then he didn't have the people that really brought him up. He did what he wanted to do, and the people that was training him at that time let him do what he wanted to do. When we had him, we put our foot, I hate to say that, down on his butt, and he did the right thing. And he had a great trainer who brought him up, so he listened. But when he had control of himself, he did what he wanted to do. So, and those people that had him then didn't care because they just wanted the money.
Okay. And Ray can speak on, boxers up in the New York area and they're partying and everything else. I mean, because you get celebrating, and then it's like, when does the celebration end? And training and being dedicated and sacrificing, when does that start back again,
Yeah, but you gotta understand, certain fighters is got to have those certain people that really has control over them, that make them say, stop it, and they'll stop.
Okay.
All right? And that's something that people don't understand. There's just certain fighters that have respect for certain trainers and managers. When that manager speaks, they listen, and they do as they told.
And who was that for you?
That do what they want to do, and the trainers don't care as long as they get paid that night when the fight's over.
I said, who is that for you? Who was that for you?
Oh no, I had people that. Oh no, I couldn't mess with no people that I was messing with. I had to do the right thing. No. That my father and Jill Clancy and Emil Griffin and the Green brothers. Oh no, and I had too many people that. Oh God.
Okay, they was on it, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, they used to pick me. The Green brothers. They used to pick me up in the morning and go run at 5 o'clock.
Oh.
Yeah, because what they did was that they used to work at a club that closed at 4 o'clock. And it was down in the village called the Dome. Back in the Dome, y'all don't know nothing about that because that was way before your time.
Yeah.
But it was a nightclub back then, and then they leave the club, come pick me up at 5 o'clock, and take me to Central Park because I used to live in the village at one time, and take me up to Central Park, do my miles, and then bring me back, and then they go home, drop me off, go home, go to sleep, and I go to sleep and then get up in the morning, in the afternoon, and go to the gym, and that's how it worked out.
So you lived the life of a boxer. That boxing culture is different than being part-time boxers.
Yeah, wasn't no part-time with me. I had people that did not play around. And one thing they told me, they said, if you think you can whip all of us at one time, you let us know, okay? And I just said, nope.
Emil, how was it as having Emil as a protege, as a mentor?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
they just stayed on you, huh?
What you just said.
I said, how was it having?
It was fantastic. But
I mean, I want to know details.
Nothing wrong.
I mean, I want to know details about it. Like, did you was doing extra, sparring with him, or I mean, what exactly was it that he liked for you to do with you the most? I mean, that's a better question.
What the thing was is that I was brought when I started. Emil was the first guy, I saw him when he first got his championship belt when he won when he stopped Benny Kipperett in that his last fight with him, and he was putting on his championship belt. But Emil showed me a lot in boxing.
Okay.
And with my father and everybody, other few people that was in the gym. But the thing was is that watching Emil being as great as he was and doing the things that he was doing with great fighters made me want to just listen to what he had to say and learn from what he taught me. And Griffin was a great champion all the way around. And one thing that I loved about Emil Griffin that no other fighters could do back in the day, he went 15 rounds like it was nothing. Even Joe Frazier came to him and asked him, "How do you go 15 rounds at the pace that you do?" And still act and then party later on that night and be dancing.
He had the strength and conditioning genetics, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh, it was. I sat there and watched him. I mean, I seen it myself, and I couldn't believe it. I said, "This man just went 15 rounds, and he out here, and we at the club. I mean, we at the hotel, and we at the party, and he's dancing."
Spanish.
And he didn't go no rounds, but he was that great at going 15 rounds. He was one of the greatest 15-round fighters in boxing history.
Do you think it was mostly genetics, like something that he was already predisposed to be able to do that?
I'm just gonna say God bless him. I mean, because he did the impossible, and that's the reason why he beat everybody, because it was that 15 round. Because you can go all the way the first 10 rounds, it can be even, and then them last 5, forget about it. He takes all 5 rounds.
Spanish Ray, you're up.
Salute to Howie Albert for taking him to the gym. Remember you told me that story, how?
It's so true. He used to work for Howie Albert.
Who knows? If he would have never took him to the gym, that would have never happened.
No, but one thing about Howie is that he was partnering with Gil Clancy. And Emil just kept telling him that he wanted to fight. And then Gil, Howie said, "Okay, let me take over to the gym." Then Gil, they started dealing with him, and he went in the gloves and the amateurs. And before we know it, Emil Griffin is a world champion.
Wow, what a story. How about you? How you started? Your father got you into boxing?
No, yeah, not my father. My father was a trainer, and then I just kept seeing him on TV when I was little. And then about 9 years old, I said I want to come to the gym and box. My mother and father were separated, so when I had a chance to go see my father, was at the gym, and then I just said I wanted to be a boxer. And he said, "What you mean you want to be a boxer?" I said, "I want to do this." So to keep me off the streets and keep me out from being out of trouble, because I was getting in a lot of trouble then. They said, Take your butt back to. I was living in South Jamaica, Queens, and I went from South Jamaica, Queens to Manhattan to go to the gym. So that kept me busy, not doing some crazy things out there in the streets.
Man, you fought everybody, Howard. You fought everybody. I saw all this fight.
Hey, because it's amazing. People don't understand. Oh, I got a book out. It's called "Always Stand on Your Feet." Okay. But write it down, people. Always Stand on Your Feet by Howard Weston. But the thing was is that when I was out there, I just saw that boxing was a thing that I needed to learn, because I saw Emil Griffin of how people was treating him, and I told my daddy at 9 years old, I said, "Daddy, I want to do that." And my daddy said, "Boy, you crazy." I said, "No, Dad, I want to do that." And he said, "Okay, bring your stuff over." And I was only 9. And then I came to the gym from Manhattan, from Jamaica, Queens, to Manhattan on 28th Street and 9th Avenue. I always will remember the gym. And I did that 5 days a week. And that's how it all started.
That's about a 2-hour drive, a 2-hour ride, right? About an hour and a half to get over there.
No, it's about an hour. About an hour. But I was on the subway because I was young. I was only 9 years old at that time.
At 9, you were traveling at 9?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Getting on that subway, and I wasn't an ordinary 9 years old.
Wow. Okay.
One thing I didn't worry about. Nobody messing with me because I knew what I was going to do. But the thing was that I took that E train all the way on Southern Boulevard. See, I remember all that. All the way to 28th Street and go to the gym.
Salute, man.
Absolutely.
You wasn't going to stop me from doing that.
And you was able to ride the subway by yourself? Your parents?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what my manager, Joe Clancy, my father was very proud of. They couldn't understand it, but I did it. And it was no big thing to me.
How it paid off.
I want to be a boxer. I want to be champion of the world.
It paid off. It paid off.
Yeah, and the thing was that they looked after me. They made sure. One thing that I did when I got home, I always called them up and let them know I got home and everything, and that was the most important. But then I started knowing the guys, in the world, in the hood, and they heard about me boxing, and when I got off the train, everybody used to meet me because that way, and everybody protected me. They wanted me to make it. They wanted me to get to the top.
Wow.
That's
I never
pretty
had
good.
no real problem.
Right. So you probably could go anywhere after a little time. You could go anywhere, and people would be like really still watching you, looking over you, or like they say, takes a village.
Yeah. Well,
I got a question. Harold, I got a question.
In the book, you can learn about what I'm talking about. Buy the book.
That's right, Mr. Harold. Sell your book.
Yeah.
Is it on Amazon? Is it on Amazon?
It's on page. No, I don't. Yeah, I think it is on Amazon. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, a lot of people, they've been referencing the Benitez fight and that Benitez, as well as the let's see, who else was it? Tommy Hearns, as your signature fights. But I mean,
see, and that's what people don't get it.
I don't like that. Yeah.
My signature fight was Hedgeman Lewis.
Okay, Hedgeman Lewis.
Okay. Yeah, people don't know about him, but he fought for the world championship twice. He was one of the best welterweights at the time. He was #1 contender. He fought Jose Napoli for the title. Napoli beat him, all right, but it was a very close fight. The last fight was very close. But the thing is that he beat everybody in the top 10 in the welterweight division. And let me tell you, he had movie stars that was backing him back in the day, which was unheard of. But he had them sponsoring him and backing him back in the day. And Hedgeman Lewis, you can look him up. He beat everybody in the welterweight division until he fought Jose Napoli for the title.
Eddie Futch's fighter. Eddie Futch trained him, right?
There you go, buddy.
Okay.
You got it.
Rocky Matolia or Matoli.
Rocky Mattioli.
Mattioli. Okay, it says that was in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah.
And so how did you? There. Okay, tell me a little bit about that. That experience of going, around the world, basically.
That was an experience.
Yeah.
You said it right.
Around the world.
That was an experience. I didn't even know where Australia was, okay?
You like down underwear?
Right. And what's so crazy about it, I had just went to Paris, okay? Mm-hmm. And when I got off the plane, my manager and them got off the plane with me, and they said, wait a minute. They went to the phone call. They went to the phone booth, and they made a phone call, and they came back. They said, meet me at the gym later. You might be going to Australia. And I said, what? And I said, where's Australia? You got to understand, I didn't know back then. So I get to the gym later on, and they say, well, you're going to fight Rocky Mattioli in 2 weeks. So you're going to go to Australia. I said, where's Australia? Now, I didn't know where this place was at, and I didn't know how long this plane ride was going to be, okay? So I didn't care. It was another fight to me. But I didn't even know who Rocky Mattioli was. But then when I found out after the fight that he had knocked out every American fighter that came over there to fight him.
Oh, wow. Okay, now they trying to set you up for failure.
Right.
What's going on?
And what I did differently, that's a long ride. That's like an 18, 19-hour flight to fly over there. And people don't understand, when you take a long flight like that to go over there to perform in anything, your body's completely wore out.
Oh, yeah.
When you did.
You arrived totally tired.
Right. What I did, I went over there 2 weeks before the fight.
Ah, okay.
I paid for the first week of me. The promoter's only going to pay for 1 week you being over there.
Uh-huh.
But what I did, I paid for the extra week for myself.
Okay.
At the hotel and the foods and everything.
Okay.
And so, and the promoter was very shocked that I was going to do that. So I did that, and then like 4 days before the fight, I felt my body coming back. Because when I got there, I was dead tired from flying.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the longest ride in the world. I don't know if y'all went that far in life on a plane in your expedition.
I have not.
That's like a 20-hour ride on the plane.
Yeah, and then you get there and people be trying to just arrive and the time difference is off too.
Right. So when my body woke up like about 4 days before the fight, I told my daddy, I said, I'm gonna beat his butt. And then my father looked at me, and I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna beat his butt." And sure enough, when that fight night came, I jumped all over Rocky Mattioli, and he came over to me after the fight. He said, "Who are you?" He said, "I ain't never heard of you before." He said, "You beat everybody in our weight division." He said, "Man, you can go." And I said, "Thank you, man." He said, "Man, I don't want to see you no more."
You know what? I bring that up to say, that fight stuck out to me just because that's the year I was born, Mr. Harold.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was born that year. I don't think, okay. Looks like I was 8 months old when you were fighting in Australia. I also see that during that particular time period, well, for that particular fight, it shows that you only had one judge, which was also the referee.
Right.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how that's different from having the 3 judges and a separate referee. I mean, I feel like almost is judge, executioner, like everything in one person.
Yeah, but he's got the close up of the whole action.
That's true. He is close up, but he can't miss stuff.
He's seen who's landing, who's not landing. But the thing is that Rocky Mattioli could never hit me. And at the same time, I was doing so much at that fight that the referee had no choice but put his hand on my head and say, "Harold, you won this."
Yes, that was Terry Riley.
You got to understand. And his hometown, Australia.
I see he tried to make it, where the score was like 47-45, like 2 points. So I see where they tried to be generous.
Right.
Yeah. Terry Riley, that's who that was.
The fight was much, much larger than that. I can say I won like 8 rounds out of 10. But he made it closer where it was like about 6-4, 7-3. But his only decision was like it was 6-4 for him.
6'4". Okay. You know what? I'm
6 rounds
also
for me,
seeing
4
that you
rounds
had
for
some
Rocky.
drown. I'm sorry. I'm seeing where you had like 5 draws, and you know, in this days and age, when you have those draws, it usually mean that you either really won it, and you were
Right.
away from home, or you were home and somebody's trying to look out for you. Which way?
No,
So
I ain't nobody looking out for me. I had to win mine.
you had to win them. All right, I understand. I get it.
Yeah, I had to win mine. If I had what other people had in their back pocket, I'd have been world champion. You know,
Right.
especially if I'd have fought when I fought Fredo Benitez in Puerto Rico.
Okay. Tell us about that. How do you remember the fight going?
No, I mean, I knew what I had to do. At that time, let me just say this. I know I won the fight. Benitez even came and told me I won it. But what they did, they had Benitez signed up to fight Sugar Ray Leonard for
Next.
the championship.
Okay.
And that fight was going to be more bigger with Benitez being undefeated, Leonard being undefeated, and it's a pay-per-view fight at that time.
And it's Puerto Rican as well.
And I'm in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So you were in their turf, and then on top of it, they like them Puerto Rican fans to be versus, you know, somebody black or white or whatever, like, you know, to make the opponent and the fans be against each other a little bit for more conflict.
Yeah, and you know, and one thing I say about my Latino brothers and sisters.
Yes.
When I came out the ring, a few of them say, "Hey, Harold, you won that fight."
Yeah.
They gave me that gratitude and praise, and they said, "Man, you won that." And so you can't do nothing. The judges made it. The judges made their decision, and then you just gotta go with it.
Right, you're absolutely right. We
But
do
you know,
have
but
a.
you know what? But you know what I look at it to everybody. And I'm gonna say this: I became world champion. You know why? Because if I didn't do what I did in life, didn't come upon me like it did, I would never have been matchmaker at Madison Square Garden. And I showed the world that a boxer had education and can run a program as big as boxing is and make 8 world champions.
I do admire that because, I mean, I can just imagine some of the barriers you might have been through at first, just being an athlete. Being an athlete and them thinking that you like one of those stereotypical, athletes that don't have high IQ. And then also as an African American man, showing that you had business acumen at that time, because it's still some challenges to it in the boxing world still today, but you were able to show it when it was really some barriers in place.
Right. There you go. And what was so unique about it is that when I did that job by myself, I didn't have an assistant and all that working with me. I did the whole boxing program at Madison Square Garden by myself.
Ooh,
that's what made it unique. And I can tell you, Bob Arum, Don King, whoever's out there, they can tell you they can't do no boxing show by themselves.
Okay. Yes, I mean that's very difficult. You're supposed to have at least one admin, personal assistant, somebody on board to help with just the paperwork of it all.
There you go. And I had to make the contracts, put the everything. I had to do everything.
Ooh, that's a lot of work. That is a lot. How many years did you do that?
I did from 1980 to 1986, 6 years, until the garden was closed down. When the garden was sold in 86, that's when I had to leave. Okay,
so you had a good run there. It prepared you. So what did you do next? Because I know that helped prepare you for what you ended up doing next.
What I did next, Don King called me up. Asked me to come work with him, and I did. And I worked with a few other promoters out there. So, that was the whole thing about, doing boxing. They knew I knew what I was talking about because I made 8 world champions from Madison Square Garden.
I want to ask this question from.
And then I made one fight. Let me put this out there. I made one fighter without being with Madison Square Garden, and that is a guy named, and you all gonna know who he is.
Who?
Bernard Hopkins.
Woo! Oh, okay. Now you're talking.
Okay. And when I made Bernard Hopkins, I was able to go down in Philly, promote shows down there. You know, Russell Peltz didn't like it. He was very pissed off with me about that at the time. And when we was filling up the stadium in Philadelphia, and we was building Bernard Hopkins, because when I got Bernard Hopkins, some friends of mine called me up and said, "Hey, Harold, can you do us a favor?" And I said, "What's that?" He said, "We'd like you to help us build a guy up that, to do some fights and everything." I said, "What is record?" They said 0-1. I said, "You want me to come down there and deal with a guy that got an 0-1 record?" And then he said,
I was going to ask you that. When did you get him? I was going to ask you, like, what was his record at the time you established, your professional relationship with him?
Yeah. And it was 0-1. And I said, and he just got out of jail. And
they added that too, huh?
So I went down to Philadelphia for my friends and then went to go see him.
Okay.
And he had potential. We had to work on a few things. And so I told him, I said, "We can do this." I said, "But we got to put some shows together, around here." And so they said, "Harold, whatever you need, we'll work it out." And we did. And we started putting shows at the Blue Horizon, when nobody has ever at that time put any shows at the Blue Horizon.
Oh, you made it a classic. That's a classic venue.
Right. And I brought that promotion into the Blue Horizon and started building Bernard Hopkins up. And I made him into a top fighter and started training him, started teaching him new moves in certain ways to make him a better fighter. And he went from there, he went to the top.
Well, you could have started with that, Mr. Harold. You could have said that first. Well, let me ask you this question before we let you go. We got Coach Louis. He says, how do we find or train fighters in the caliber of the old school fighters? Why is it so hard to have them kinds of boxers these days? Ooh, he hit you with a double whammy.
Well, the thing is that we always got to understand about life. You got to have the right teachers. And if you don't have the right teachers, I don't care in what field it is in life, those students are not going to go anywhere.
Right.
And they're not going to learn anything. And so you got to have the right teachers to teach these young people to how to move themselves into that situation where the talent you can see and develop them into a better person in their sport. And that's what it's all about.
So you got to be able to know how to pick them and hone in on their natural talents before you got to
have, like I'm saying, you need the teachers to be right.
Okay.
If the teachers are not smart and knowledgeable, then the student is not going to be smart and knowledgeable. And that's the way life is. That's how come we got schools. And that's how come when kids go to school, you want to have the right teachers in that classroom to teach them the right proper way to be a better person. And some kids catches up to it and learn well, and some don't. But
okay.
You got a great teacher, that student's going to be a great person later on.
Well, how do you get a great teacher that hasn't been around another great teacher to teach them? So he's asking as a coach. So how does he become a teacher if he hasn't had a lot of access to real teachers in the business?
Yeah, well, like I'm going to say to you, that's how come you got very few smart people in the world, because they didn't have great teachers. And those who did have great teachers, they learned from them and they became smart, or they became a better fighter because of that great teacher. And that's the whole. Why you think Angelo Dundee, Gil Clancy, Customato, all those guys had great fight? They made world champions. Why those guys did it? Because they were great teachers.
Okay.
And that's what. So today's time, why you think that you don't have the name fighters out there or great trainers' name out there in today's time? Because you don't have great trainers.
You got a few old school type teachers left, but you know, it's like with every generation, more and more of them are passing away, unfortunately. So
Right.
we got to find a better way to be able to, you know, lock in on them teachers and what they have to give to the next generation.
Right. And that's what you're not getting.
Right.
And that's the sad part about it, because you're losing the teachers and the students that are out there. They're not grabbing onto anything because those teachers are leaving and they're not getting any knowledge from those teachers no more. And I feel sorry for the young generation of boxers, because they're not as good as they want to be. They want to fight, they want to learn, but they don't have the teachers that really have that knowledge of the sport of boxing.
Yes, I know of a couple of old school teachers, but they were taught by some really legendary teachers, and so you know it's hard once you lose that legendary teacher.
Yeah, it is.
But Ray, you want to ask? Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I want him to say the Ali story, what he told me how he met Ali.
Oh yeah, when Ali came to my office, him and they were celebrating Joe Frazier and his anniversary of when they fought at Madison Square Garden. He left that meeting upstairs. You're talking about hundreds and hundreds of newspaper people was up there at that time. He came to my office, came to the door, locked it, opened it, locked it, just sat there. I was on the phone, and he said, "Keep doing what you're doing." And I told the person who was on the other end, I said, "I gotta get off, man." And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because I got out Muhammad Ali sitting in front of my office on my chair, and I gotta see what he wants." So I hung up the phone who I was talking to, and I asked, "What's up, champ?" He said, "Man, I just want to talk to you." He said, "Because I couldn't believe when they told me that African American was running Madison Square Garden boxing. Because at that time, no African American or anybody African was doing anything in the boxing world at Madison Square Garden."
Right.
But I was running Madison Square Garden by myself. I didn't have an assistant or anything. They made me do, Gil Clancy put the test to me and say, "Do this by yourself, because I know you can do the job."
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing, and it's also a testament to what you can do when you put your mind to it after your boxing career is, when you're retired and you want to move on. There's certain avenues you can take to still make money so that you're not having to jump in that ring when you know it's not in you anymore just to pay some bills. So it's something to be said for your ability to recognize that there was another next step and what to do.
Yeah, and then the other thing was I was able to help those kids that would never been able to be world champions. And I'm gonna say, like a kid like Hector Camacho,
Okay.
a guy named Juan Laporte,
Yes.
Mark Maddow,
Yes.
okay,
Mhm.
a guy named Iran Barkley. And let me give you the story about him.
Okay.
Bob Arum had him, and Top Rank got rid of him when he lost 2 fights in a row. I picked him up, turned him around, got him with a good trainer, and made him world middleweight champion.
Also, he had dropped him after 2. So he's doing the same thing now. He dropping people when they lose a fight. You mess around and you don't look good in that fight, Mr. Harold. He doing the same thing now. You'll get yourself dropped real quick.
Yeah, but I'm very proud of those guys, because all they wanted was an opportunity, And one thing that I realized working with young men, that they just want to get opportunity to have a chance. And if they listen and they got a good trainer and good people behind them, they're going to make it. But you got to have those good people that knows the sport itself to develop them into a good person and a good fighter. And that's what I did with these guys that nobody would have ever thought about being champion. There was one fighter who was one of the slowest fighters in the world of throwing punches. And I give him credit. He became junior middleweight champion of the world. His name was Mark McDowell. Okay. And nobody believed when I told him that he was going to be champion, but he did become champion. And when he went to the fight, he was like a 9-1 underdog going into the fight.
Wow. Like he took advantage of that situation.
We fought a guy from Philadelphia at the time who had like 19 fights with 17 knockouts and everything. And he knocked the guy out.
Whoa, so he had more power than people thought he had.
Right, that I saw,
right. Well, Bruce says that tomorrow is going to be the anniversary of Leonard versus Benitez fight 44 years ago.
Yeah, well, you know, Leonard was very fortunate to have Harold Weston go before him. So he was able to beat Benitez and Tommy Hearns.
How they both were going to be in the ring against somebody with high skill level, right?
You know, because one thing that Angelo Dundee told me, he said, Harold, thank you for showing us how to beat Tommy. Because when Tommy was coming up, Tommy looked awesome. Nobody, he was knocking out good fighters coming up until I fought him. But Tommy showed no hair of mistakes of being a person that could be beaten at that time until I fought him and showed a few things that showed fighters how they can get to Tommy Hearns. But Tommy was, he was he was a killer. Back when he was coming up. Them first 17 fights he had, oh my God, please.
He knew how to put leverage on his punches properly for his height and size. It's like, you know, boxers now, they be having the same type of physical body and they not able to, like, they don't know how to put them. Yeah, like they don't know how to do it.
Right. But Tommy was scary. I mean, really, he was scary.
Okay, Bruce got one more question and then we'll let you go for the night. But we'd love to have you back on the show again when you and I personally figure out this audio on your laptop.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, he says, does Kuvas punch as hard as the legend goes? As hard. So does he punch as hard as the rumors were that he had?
Who's that?
Kuvas. See you. It's on your screen.
Cuevas. He means Cuevas.
Cuevas. Oh, okay.
He can punch. Oh, yeah. That's one thing about Cuevas. He had the punch.
Wow.
He had nothing. He just come right at you and throw that left hook in right hand, and he hit you, you gonna feel it.
Okay, he said patina.
And that's one thing that everybody, when I fought him, he shook me up a couple of times. But at the same time, with his stamina wasn't that good because he tried to knock you out in the first round and going on into the 7th, 8th round. You should be out of there. But Cuevas, he can punch.
Jeez. I wouldn't want to be in the ring with him.
Oh, no, you didn't. No.
Even sparring would have been too much.
Yes, I agree. I mean, you talking about a puncher. He was a puncher. He's up there with the great ones with punching power.
I mean, it's a lovely thing to have if you're the one that has it, you know.
Yeah, right.
And it's God-given. It's totally, you know, something that you had no actual control. Well, I'm just saying, like, most natural punchers, it's like something they were born with, you know, like they just got it.
Yeah, but you know, I was very fortunate. I've been hit so hard by other great fighters. I used to box a guy named Rico Valdez, in the gym, who was he was a middleweight champion of the world at one time. and he was good too. And I used to spar with him. So getting in there with punches was no big thing to me. But, you know, Cuevas could punch. Let me just say that. He could punch.
You could crack.
Okay, Coach Louis gives Spanish Ray a compliment, and he says he thinks he's a great teacher. And it's an honor for him to call and be able to depend on him in the sport. So, shout out to Spanish Ray.
That's because I listen to guys like that right there.
Yes. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Hey, you see that glove? Eddie Foote signed that glove, man.
Oh, great, man.
Now I got to get you to sign it.
Okay. I'll do that for you. No
and
problem.
let me know when your movie comes out, too.
Okay, I'll keep you posted on that. Oh, you're going to hear about it because you know I'm going to open my mouth.
Okay. So somebody else, Rosalind, I think she's in Tampa now, but she's from Philly. She was going into detail about how you survived up there on them streets in Philly. But she says it was been a great show, and the knowledge and wisdom and understanding from all schools. The legend, champ, and boxing, keep it up, the great work. So she wants us to continue.
But, you know, when I'm trying to do, and I got to say this out to everybody, I just want to help these young people, young men and women, you know, go the right way. Stop going down this wrong path that a lot of young people are doing. But that's the reason why I got the book out. But I'm trying to give them more knowledge because we need more leadership out here in the world today to help this young generation because we need help.
All right. We thank you so much for being with us tonight. And we'll have Spanish Ray, you know, contact you again to get us rescheduled. And the name of that book is Always Stand on Your Feet by Harold Weston. That's right. And thank you so much for everything that you've done for the sport, especially as an African-American male on the business side of things.
Okay. Thank you for having me. And you guys stay strong. And y'all take care of yourself. And look forward to talking to you soon again.
Okay.
Especially when the movie come out.
Oh, okay. We got a movie coming soon, guys. So watch out for that. We definitely need to have you before that premieres.
Okay. We definitely going to do it. Put that down on your book and just call me up. I'll be there for you.
All right. My administrative assistant, Spanish Ray, he's on it.
Hey, Harold.
I got assistants now.
Harold, you went to the service too, right? You did time in the service, right?
Yeah. Oh, let me say this one thing. I'm going to say it out there. The military saved my life, made me a better man, and I can tell to any young man or woman, if you don't have nowhere to go in life, go to the military.
Salute, man. Salute.
That's what's up. Military helped you out.
Okay.
All right. We'll see you next time. You stay nice. All right. Be sweet.
Bye-bye.
All right. And you guys, you can watch the replay of this if you weren't able to catch it later on. You can watch it on our other platforms, which is our YouTube channel, Boxing Playhouse Inc. And then we also have IG as well as Facebook and Twitter. And we also have TikTok for the youngsters now. So you can just go on and subscribe to any of those links. And you can also subscribe to Harold Weston on YouTube as well. And we look forward to seeing you all next week when I'm sure Spanish Ray will have somebody else lined up. It is supposed to be Ladies Week now.
Always stand on your feet, Harold.
Stand on your feet. Amen to that. That's always a great tip to stand on your own feet.
Shout out
we'll check you out later.
Amanda Serrano. Hopefully we get Amanda on.
Right back here in the same place, 8 p.m. on Wednesdays. Boxing Playhouse.
I'm very physical when I'm lyrical. So bat it down with medical, something critical. It's gonna take a miracle. Bright lights, but the spiritual written down like biblical. I finally reached the pinnacle. Yeah. Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the Boxing Playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest.